What's up, everyone? I have a few minutes. I wanted to share something that I've been thinking about in reflection of my time being within religion and also my time being in school. These two had a few parallels that I kind of noticed today, and I just wanted to share. So, if you think of religion like school, what's the subject? Spiritual truth. Or just spirituality in general. And so typically when we're children, we're having this human experience, and we don't really have much mental framework to understand it intellectually. So what do? We go to school. And at school we learn, let's say we learn about science and the physical laws that are at work in the universe. Now, it's not like by taking the class, all of a sudden these things are popping into existence. They've always been there. You've been experiencing the laws of physics your whole life as a child, but you didn't understand what they were within a mentalized context. So you go to school to learn about those things. And I see spirituality and religion in a similar way. There's the spiritual truth that is at work in our lives that has been forever. And we're all collectively trying to figure out what that is, what this higher power, this spiritual truth, this kind of ineffable, transcendent thing that we can't really describe. How do we go about trying to mentalize it? And thus, a diverse array of religions and spiritual traditions arose in an attempt to do that. And so for me, it was like going to school is great and taking classes is awesome to learn. You can practice that subject, you can practice certain skills, your teacher can be a great influence on you and help explain things when you're confused. The textbook is offered that gives great information. And every religion is kind of this way. They have their teachers and they have their textbooks and they have their classes, and they're teaching their subject. Now, you could go to a different class that might have a similar textbook, a similarly trained teacher, and it could be an entirely different class. You might learn some things there that you couldn't have learned in the other class based on various factors. I really do see religion in this way, where it's a wonderful place to learn about spiritual truths and start practicing them and developing your spiritual skills and being able to connect with divinity, with God or higher power or whatever. And that's a great place to do that. You've got teachers that help you with that. You've got scriptures that help you with that. You meet regularly, and that helps keep it on the mind. But at a certain point in any class, you have sufficiently learned the material. You've studied the textbook. You've, and you get to this point where it's like you can decide to keep taking that same class and staying kind of where you're at in your understanding and just perfecting and honing it, or you can try taking a higher level class or go into personally studying this subject for yourself in those areas that you're interested in and in a personal attempt to learn the subject. In spirituality, you can do the same thing. You can max out yourself in a religion, in what they have to offer, and then you can move on to either another religion or tradition or philosophy, or even just start personally taking it upon yourself to grow yourself spiritually without the need for teacher, classroom, textbook setting. But the problem with a lot of religions, in my mind, is that they kind of present themselves as, well, this is the highest class. What you're learning here is the highest information that is available. this is the only place that you can get this information, pretty much. Like, our textbook is the best textbook. Our teachers are the best teachers. You will learn this subject better here in this particular class than you will anywhere else, and that goes for anybody that walks through the door. You see how if a classroom was saying that, that would be a little strange. Be like, well, no, like, I could go on the internet and learn about science. I could go talk to my family about science. I could go to a college and learn about science. This high school class is not the end all be all. It's important. It's an important step. It's something that is, for most people, critical, but it's not necessary. And the subject will always be there with or without a class to teach it. Spiritual truths will always be there. The spiritual reality will always be there. No matter if you're in a religion or not in a religion, or what religion you are, it doesn't matter. We're all trying to figure this subject out. And we're doing it in so many different ways. And it's great that there are so many ways to do it, because there are so many different people. And they need to be taught in different ways. So it's very important that different ways are offered, so that everyone can find something that works for them, so that we can all learn this same subject of how to live a good life, how to be a good person. What does that mean? How do we connect with something that's outside of ourselves, that's higher than ourselves? So that's really what we're all doing in spiritual circles. So I just like looking back at my experience within religion, where I really believed it was that if we related to in high school class, that high school class was like all I could ever know about whatever that subject is. And then moving out of high school and continuing my education in other ways, I don't need that class anymore. And I don't need my previous religion anymore. I learned and grew in the ways that I needed to within it, and reached a point where I needed to set off on my own path of learning, my own education. So anyway, that's just my thought for today. It already went longer than I meant it to, but thank you for watching. I hope that was interesting for you, and you have a fantastic day.